What's up? It's George the Fragrance Apprentice. Long-lasting, intense, insane beast mode fragrances aren't exactly a fragrance style or fragrance type that I would recommend in everyday life, but there is a real desire now more than ever for people to have fragrances that they know are going to, project out, perform extremely well, and last a huge amount of time. People really have a desire for performance-based fragrances, and nothing wrong with that. And so I have compiled a list of 8 fragrances that are complete and utter beasts. What is a beast mode fragrance? These fragrances that I've got here, they are from 8 to 1. 1 is the strongest, 8 is the least strongest of the list, but they're all incredibly, incredibly strong. You have my word on that, but it will go up in intensity. These are fragrances that if you put them on, chances are that anybody else who's going to wear just regular, casual, everyday style fragrances, they're going to be blown out of the water. If you go into a club or if you go into a social event, people will absolutely, smell you. So I would also recommend go easy. Go easy on the trigger of these fragrances, because you don't want to smell too overwhelming. You want people to smell you, of course, there's no question of that, but you don't want it to be, it go the other way where you become an annoyance. So I'm just going to mention that most of these fragrances will be niche related, but there are a couple, 2 or 3 designers in here as well. But everybody's going to recognise number 8, that is 1 Million. Now, 1 Million has been reformulated, it has been changed, and that's why maybe it is a little bit low on the list, but don't underestimate it. 1 Million is still one of the most strongest performing designer fragrances that you can buy in store right now or online. 1 Million is very, very strong and robust, and especially in colder weather, in winter weather, it's always going to project out. It's going to get people to notice you. I've been wearing this again recently, actually. Every now and then I'll sort of fall in and out of love with 1 Million. But I had a little spell of about 2 or 3 weeks where I wore 1 Million and everybody was still, recognised it. And like I said in my video, is 1 Million still good in 2019? Usually you'll just get a reaction of, oh yes, you're wearing 1 Million, of course, I can smell it on you. But that's good, that means that it still projects, it still has a very strong performance. And the longevity has never really changed. The projection and how far it bounces off your skin and how much of a scent cloud it creates has decreased over time since its release, but longevity has never really been affected. This can still push out 12 hours plus. All of these fragrances, by the way, they push 12 hours plus, but yeah, this one is still very strong and it still absolutely kicks arse, as we say here in the UK, when it comes to colder weather. Number 7, for those of you who are wanting something that really, really has good solid performance, but you don't want to spend a fortune, you don't want to take out a mortgage for any of these fragrances, I totally understand. So what I would recommend to you is this is RAGHBA by LATTAFA. Quite an infamous fragrance. It reminds people very much of a fragrance that I've been wearing quite a lot. Of course, I just put it at the back, wouldn't I? Yes, of course, people would know 24 Gold. These two are incredibly similar. However, 24 Gold is very hard to find at the moment, or it's getting harder to find. And if I'm honest, this has got better performance anyway. This is the one that, for me, is the beast mode out of both of them. This has got a much more richer, stronger, heavier tone to it that is just going to last and last and last, more so than 24 Gold. And also it's incredibly cheap, incredibly easy to find. It's one of the best beast mode fragrances that I could recommend to you. This is an Arabian style of oud and vanilla. The one thing that I will also say that compared to 24 Gold is that this smells a lot more Eastern, this smells a lot more Arabian. When you spray this on, you are going to smell as though, you've got a fragrance from a completely different country with a completely different style of perfumery. The bottom line here is, RAGHBA is an incredibly long-lasting performance god of a fragrance, and you can get it online for an incredibly low price. Number 7 is from the house of DUETO. This is Golden Boy. This is basically a clone of Tuscan leather, but with a lot more party, a lot more raspberry, a lot more fruit, a lot more sweeter elements. If I'm honest, I could recommend all of the Duettos to you in general. Even their lighter fragrance like Citava is an absolute bomb. Duetto has had a good solid run, and people do appreciate Duetto, and there's pockets of people who know about it in the fragrance community. But if you're interested in this style of fragrance, a fragrance that is a beast, that has an insane amount of performance, and people are going to will have no choice but to notice you, Duetto is a brand that almost every single fragrance that they release, there's just an incredible performance to all of their fragrances. I was thinking of recommending City Love, but Golden Boy just seems a little bit more suited to this list, because this one really is very punchy and incredibly strong. Number 5 is from the house of Tom Ford. There are 2 Tom Fords in this list. We're going to start with Tobacco Oud. What an absolute outright bomb. And it's not just a bomb performance-wise, it's a bomb scent-wise. This has got a really, really strong oudy type feel, but with a very, very herby and leafy tobacco. This is not for the faint of heart. This is for... You could piss a few people off if you wear this, but I really love it. I think that it's very, very animalic and very sexy and very, very outrageous in a sort of way, but it's also got a lot of the sweetness that comes from the tobacco and a little bit of vanilla. But it's strong, it's very striking, it has a really defined and solid personality, that where you put this on, and I wore this when I was like 22, 23. I would wear this to nights out at film school, which is, smelling it now, probably shouldn't have been doing that. It's completely out of context. But yeah, it's a very, very strong, very vivacious fragrance that is... You're going to have to test it, but one thing that you can definitely say about it is that the performance is second to none. We're going 12 hours, 15 hours plus now into this list, and this is absolutely no exception. Tobacco Oud by Tom Ford. Number 4 is from the house of Parfums de Marly. Of course, this is Herod. I've been talking about this quite a lot recently. Now, I'm a bit concerned about this because I've also been hearing from people that they are not getting performance, the right performance that this is known for, and the performance that I'm getting. I am getting, at this point, nearly 24 hours with this. I have to take a shower to get rid of this, and I have to wash my clothes to get this off of me. It is a strong, bold, like I said, creamy chocolate Nutella that I get from Herod, even though that's not completely listed, but this is the same kind of thing. It's got the tobacco, it's got the vanilla, it's got cinnamon. It's actually perfumed by the same gentleman who did 1 Million, and there are similarities in style and performance. This on me is an outright colossal bomb. I've got 125 milliliter of this. I will not be using this all up because it is just so strong on me. But like I said, there are other people coming out of the woodwork saying, and I believe them because there's just been so many people saying that the performance is not correct. So please be careful when purchasing this, especially for the reason of performance. But on me, this is just wild, obnoxious almost. Number 3 is a fragrance that I have completely and utterly fallen in love with, and it's very unusual. It's rare that a designer fragrance, a mainstream fragrance, catches me off guard anymore. I feel as though in some way I've been there and done that with a lot of the designers, a lot of the mainstream scents that come out from all of the mainstream houses. But this is from a house that has literally had probably the best year designer-wise out of everybody. I am of course talking about Hugo Boss, and this is Boss, the Scent Absolute. Wow. Just everything about this is really, really phenomenal, but this is so strong. This is such a proliferating, I'm running out of... I'm going to have to get a thesaurus at this point because I'm running out of words that mean the same thing, which is strong, powerful, maximum, whatever it is. But this really does take it to the maximum. And I really mean that. I have been wearing this quite a lot. considerable amount, and it's just the same story. I wake up the next morning and it is still beaming off of me. But the thing that I really like about it also is that you can put a few sprays on. It will, project out like a madman, but it doesn't feel obnoxious. It doesn't feel as though it's actually sort of like strangling people, but it's very, very vibrant and very, very out there, and it's consistent. And one thing that I could say about this performance, yes, is the consistency of it. You've got it for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. You've got this strong style of projection, but it does really just kind of keep it there. But this is basically a regular sort of sweet designery fragrance rolled up with a portion of healthy, sophisticated, classy vetiver. It's really quite an enigma, and it's not something that I thought that Boss would have put out, but then again, they're releasing a lot of things at the moment that I wouldn't have initially thought that they would have put out, like the Oud series. But it's fantastic, it's brilliant, killer design of the bottle. It's my personal favourite design release of 2019. Boss the Scent Absolute. Number 2 is from, again, here we go again, from the house of Tom Ford. It is Tobacco Vanille. I'm very looking forward to wearing this very soon because it smells like Christmas in a bottle. It's a Christmassy, chocolatey pastry dessert rolled into a fragrance bottle. Don't be scared about the tobacco mentioning, because that's not what this is. It doesn't smell like you've just rolled up a cigarette or you've rolled up a pipe. I don't know how you'd roll up a pipe, but if you can do that, please film it and YouTube it me. But yeah, it's a fantastic Christmassy dessert-like fragrance. It's incredible, and it really is one of the strongest Tom Fords available on the market today, no question, along with Tobacco Oud. Whenever they put tobacco in one of their fragrances, it's just completely mayhem. But Tobacco Vanille, incredibly, incredibly, incredibly strong. We're going up to about 48 hours at this point. I don't even know, but it is truly one of the most strongest fragrances I have in my collection. I've got 50ml here. I will probably never run out of it. I'm going to give you my number 1 here, but the reason why I've picked this as my number 1 is that this is the strongest beast mode, beastly fragrance that I have that I could recommend to you, but it isn't the strongest fragrance that I own. I'm going to show you that at the end. This is my number 1 though, not to downplay it. This is Maison Francis Kurkdjian. This is Oud Satin Mood. 2 sprays of this, you're off to the races, right? I could put bam, bam, thank you, ma'am. That's it. I'm done for the next 2 or 3 days. It's a very expensive, pricey fragrance, but it's 75 milliliter. Again, I will never, ever. I could give away half of this, which I'm not going to, I'm very sorry. I could give away 3/4 of this. I would still have enough of this juice to last me for 2 decades, 3 decades, because you just put it on, this wonderful warming Oud vanilla combo that's very unique, very sophisticated, very good, and that's it. You're done. So Oud Satin Mood is easily the strongest beast mode fragrance that I could recommend to you, but it is not the strongest fragrance that I have. Genuinely, and this is just sort of an extra part of this video, the strongest fragrance that I have in my collection right now, bar none, bar any of and I have like 200 fragrances at this point, maybe even over 200, bloody hell, is from the House of Zoologist. It's T-Rex. But I didn't want to ultimately recommend this to you because, you put this on, that's it. This could really stain your clothes. Do not spray this on anything white, but it is so incredibly, incredibly strong, and the projection is just so ridiculous for such a period of time. It's actually a little bit difficult to wear. And also, it smells of blood, fire, smoke, and a firework that had gone off 2 days ago and then was rained on. I'd just stick with Oud Satin Mood, to be honest. Anyway, so that is the list. I hope that that has given you some information, given you some new ideas to think about with these long-lasting beast mode fragrances. Anyway, if you enjoyed this content, I'm uploading basically every single day at the moment. I'm the Fragrance Apprentice, and I will see you tomorrow. Thanks so much. Bye.
The sign